Sofyan Amrabat has joined Manchester United. Now, this is a player that a lot of fans were absolutely mad keen to see come to the club. You've seen all the noise on social media, people saying we need to get Sofyan Amrabat in. He's a midfielder that we're crying out for. He offers us cover, or he offers us an option in a part of the pitch that we need. Abdullah, you were over in Qatar. You saw him as part of that Morocco team that went into that wonderful run to the semi-finals. You've also seen a little bit of him at Fiorentina as well. What kind of a player are Manchester United getting in Sofyan Amrabat?
I think Amrabat is... What I really like about Amrabat is he's someone that can offer you both sides of the game in terms of, picking up the ball off the centre-backs and driving with it. He doesn't do anything mad in terms of his passing. Like, there's a few videos on Twitter you'll see where he's hitting a switch or whatnot, but that's not really his game. His game's more about receiving under pressure for a big guy, physically using his body really well to get away from people, driving with the ball, then finding that 5-yard pass. And I think at Man United right now, we actually miss that. It's just that short progressive carry, but it's being available, showing for the ball. Whenever I'm sat with Mac, for example, at Old Trafford, and he always goes off on McTominay about one thing, and it's always the same thing is, he doesn't show for the ball, hides from the ball. And as much as I like Scott and what he's done, in the Ollie period and stuff like that, and I have respect for him, and where he's had big games for Man United against City and Liverpool and PSG and so on forth, I just think when you compare Amrabat, is you're getting a player that actually wants the ball to pick it up. Casemiro has never actually been that player at Madrid. Modric and Kroos are two of the most incredible midfielders we've ever seen in football. Like, in my lifetime watching football, absolutely incredible. Like, Modric, in my opinion, because I've obviously watched football longer than me, for me, he is the best midfielder that I've watched in terms of his prime, the best all-round midfielder. Him and Kevin De Bruyne are up there from what I probably watched. I only caught Scholes and Xavi, and obviously I caught nice bits of Iniesta, but like, watching what Modric was doing, and he had that alongside him at Madrid. Man United, I'm watching Casemiro, and there's a lot of faults to his game, but I think we almost expose him by not having that guy who wants the ball to pick it up off the centre-backs. And I was saying this on Twitter over the summer. What I like about Kobe, and also what I like about Amrabat, they have similarities in a sense where they take that pressure away on the ball aspect. And I think with Casemiro, people underestimate how important he is in the attacking phase off the ball. I think obviously he can't really create in terms of, like, I've seen a couple of times where he does that half space pass into Martial or Rashford or somewhere where they missed the headers last season, if people can remember that. But he doesn't consistently do that, and that's not his game. But in a big Premier League game where it's chaos in the middle and you need that robustness and you need that strength in the middle and that ball winning ability, if you just unleash Casemiro to do that, and you've actually got someone to then take the job of having to pick up off the centre-backs and take that pressure away in turn, then you're also allowing Casemiro to do more of a defensive job. And I think that's the way people don't really see that. I actually think Amrabat's going to be slightly the deeper player, picking up the ball and driving with it. And I think Casemiro, if you watch that last game, who did play Forest at Old Trafford, Casemiro was ending up in the final third ahead of Eriksen. Where Eriksen played in that game is where I imagine Amrabat would play. And that's another point. If we want to maximise what we can get out of Eriksen, we can't keep running him into the ground. And that leads me on to the point with Bruno. And I think, again, Bruno, like, if he obviously, we know his record's absolutely amazing with his fitness, but we're now, I think, at a stage where finishing the top 3 last season, we've got a great manager in Erik Ten Hag, we made some decent signings, you want to be going out on all fronts. I think we need to now start adjusting to giving Bruno a genuine, like, full week's rest ahead of some of these big Champions League games and Premier League games, because we just don't tend to do that. And I think Bruno, when I noticed this game last season, if everyone remembers, Southampton at Old Trafford, he was absolutely shattered.
0-0.
It might have been. Did Casemiro get sent off?
Yeah, he did. It was 0-0.
He was in midfield by himself. He was shattered. But every single break, at one stage for like 15, 20 minutes of that game, he'd just drop the ball, drop the pass. He'd mess up. And when you can tell he's tired and he's not making the right decisions, you're not getting the most. And this is, again, where Mason Mount comes in. In my opinion, I think I would like to see tested a bit of a Casemiro, Amrabat midfield, and allowing Bruno to flourish where he flourished best under Ollie, which is closer to Marcus Rashford, closer to goal, entering those second striker zones, being more of a goal threat. We watched the first half against Spurs. I don't know if you noticed this. I felt like Mason Mount was playing a lot deeper and receiving deeper, and that took away a lot of the pressure that again, we're talking about with Casemiro and him having to deal with things on the ball. On top of that, I felt like Bruno missed a chance. Marcus missed a couple of chances. But what was happening in that half is we looked more like we were getting the best out of our two forwards and Bruno and Marcus, because they got closer together, they got in better positions. That's what Man United need to get. If Mason Mount can become that backup to Bruno and can become that player that can come in and play wide where he played for Chelsea under Tuchel at times and Lampard at times, then fantastic. You need a squad. We look at City, you need a squad. So Amrabat and Casemiro, the best part of it as well, Amrabat has played as a single holder for Morocco as an example. Unahi playing further up, he's a bit of a lightweight player in terms of like his physique, but he's really good on the half turn. Similar to Mount in aspects. He can play alongside Amrabat if you want to rest Casemiro, because Amrabat, as good as he is on the ball and driving with it, he's a beast. He's physically, like, we keep seeing that clip of him hunting down Mbappe and winning the ball back. He can give you that. I watched him against Belgium having a fantastic game against Kevin De Bruyne and that Belgian team. So yeah, Amrabat just gives you that tactical flexibility. So
if you push came to shove, if it's a big game, or even if it's not a big game, just more often than not, would you like to see him and Casemiro playing? Is he going to come in and give Casemiro a breather? You spoke about maybe giving Bruno rest ahead of the big games, maybe using Mason Mount, using Eriksen in the right way. Do you see Amrabat and Casemiro playing together a lot of the time, or one or the other?
Yes, I do. And I think it's going to become...
Yes, you do see them playing together.
Yeah, I do see them playing together, yeah. Sorry, I should have explained that better. But yeah, I think I see them both playing together a lot more than people would think, because I think it's been a lot of been spoken about as him being that cover for Casemiro. I think he is going to be that, but I also see his role a bit like Kobe that we watched sort of in the not as up and down as he was in the Arsenal game, but when he was receiving off the defence.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a bit like that, and I think them two are going to play that role. I think Kobe's going to have a lot more minutes than people expect, and hopefully he comes back fit and returns, looking as good as he did in pre-season after that unfortunate injury. But I think Man United need to go down that route. Will Erik ten Hag do that? So if we were playing Arsenal, or we're going to play Arsenal on the weekend, and if Amrabat had already been signed 2 weeks back, you ask me who's going to start in that midfield. I think Erik ten Hag starts both of them. I don't think he starts Eriksen, because I was watching that goal, that fantastic goal, to be fair, from Saka against us last season at the Emirates, and I'm looking at Eriksen, and he was absolutely shattered at that stage of the game.
It's a criticism of Eriksen, isn't it? That whilst he's class on the ball,
it's not his blame. But yeah,
we saw it at the Etihad where you got De Bruyne just basically
attacking midfielders just ghost behind him. They almost it's not his role.
That's not him.
I think if you're facing like a Forest, we've seen it that day, and the ball's popping out to him further back, and Forest are playing deeper, and then him ending up in the box as well, because you got more of that flexibility, because you got that extra that extra level above the opposition. But if you're playing City, you're playing Liverpool, you're playing Chelsea, playing these teams, like the quality is a lot higher. You can't just have runners like Sterling, for example, to Chelsea in the form that he's in, just running off you like that. You need your midfielders to be on it. And I think, again, like Eriksen can come in. It just gives us a lot more flexibility. If you're hunting down a game against a big side, you take off Amrabat, you put on Eriksen in the last 20 minutes, you got a lot more energy out of him. If you've got more of the ball and you want to attack, you want Eriksen there. It's about having that tactical flexibility, and I've always said that when I come on here over the years. Man United have always been very short-sighted. They've stuck with McTominay and Fred over the years and just put Bruno in front of him, tried to fit the Donny thing, it didn't work, and for years they've just been trying to roll with it. And I think this midfield needed an overhaul. And I'm just glad we've got Bruno and Casemiro with experience now together, so it could work out well with Amrabat.
Yeah, well, hopefully it will work out well with Amrabat. Get involved in the comments and the chat and let us know what you think about Sofyan Amrabat joining Manchester United Football Club. You've heard from Abdullah there, what sort of role he sees the Moroccan midfielder playing at Manchester United, and hopefully he can have a very successful time here at the club.